Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio. Hold on one second. I think my mic is a little bit funky. It's Monday, not really Monday, but hold on. Can you hear me? I have a feeling I'm not being broadcasted correctly.
I hear you well.
Yeah, you can hear me well. Awesome. Let's see. All right. Where was I? NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Well, I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K-words, no Kardashian talk, no tea talk, no headlines at all, because they are all negative. And I want to balance out all the negative out there with some positivity, not just Pollyanna positivity, but with solutions to life's barriers to our own personal and collective happiness. So I have topics and guests to that end, and certainly today is no exception. Been looking forward to having my guest that you're seeing on camera with me this morning. He's the founder and director of Nutritional Oncology Research Institute, NORI, which was established in 2011. Mark's background is in clinical nutrition with a specific focus on cancer prevention and treatment. He's the CEO of NORI Nutraceuticals, which manufactures specialty nutritional supplements. And if you listened to the last Throwback Thursday interview, Mark has developed we talked about an enzyme before, and I'm going to have you review all that, but he's developed a single tablet that targets the Achilles heel of cancer and oxidizes cancer cells to death. The tablet is a cocktail of 3 natural compounds, and best of all, small-scale clinical studies are demonstrating remarkable results. You know that when I do talk about anything like homelessness, I bring someone on who has part solution to that, like Doors of Change. Cancer, I've had Fran Drescher on with Cancer Schmancer, education about prevention. I had that show. I've had Chris Wark, who has been still cancer-free. He's come on several times. So this is part of a great series that we do not have to get beat by cancer, but we can actually do something to beat cancer ourselves. So please welcome back to the studio, Mark Simon.
For having me.
Absolutely. I'm so delighted that you responded. I usually, when I do the Throwback Thursday, I go, I wonder what they're doing right now. So I'm glad that you answered the call. Now, before we get into all of the great information you're going to give us, I have started this Good Life habit. I don't know if you did it the last time you were here. It is hashtag Blisscipline. Top of the bun. Oh, sorry. We have breakfast with my guest or with myself or my co-host, and we take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So the top of the bun is things that we're grateful for outside of ourselves, and then the bottom of the bun is things that we're grateful for inside of ourselves, so that when we go to bed tonight, we're not thinking about, oh, I didn't get this done, or it's not good enough, or who done me wrong. But instead, we're ready and primed for being able to go to bed thinking about, you know what, I'm pretty good at blank, or I am a caring person, or whatever that quality is, so that we'll get a good night's sleep. So that's been the practice I've been doing on the show now for a couple of years. I don't know if you did it last time, but we'll just start. And doesn't have to be long, but it has to be specific. So top of the bun, I'll start with, I am grateful for this beautiful cup of coffee. My first cup of coffee in the morning, and the taste of my coffee. And I get to be one with my coffee. Those of you who know that I celebrate the deliciousness of life. Here's the model. Here we go. This is what you do every time you eat or drink something good. That is being one with your deliciousness of life. What are you grateful for, Mark?
Well, I started the morning off with some fresh figs. I love figs, one of my favorite fruits.
Great, great. Yeah. On Wednesdays, I go to a meeting that has a fig tree, and I just picked, I had fresh figs for the first time. It's funny you should say that. And they're delicioso, for sure.
Perfect food, the perfect ideal food for humans.
Really? Okay. Okay. We're gonna
Nutritionally complete. We could live on figs alone.
Wow.
For that matter, we could live on fruit alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a nice little commercial for what's about to ensue on the show. We are what we eat, right? That is definitely one of the topics. I am grateful that I get to have this incredible view that I'll show you. I'm going to put the story up to encourage people to come now to participate on this live show on my YouTube TV channel. Please free subscribe, give me the finger, this one, not the other one. And I'm grateful for the view that you'll see in the story that I'm going to show you of the ocean of abundance. What else are you grateful for, Mark?
Just being able to wake up every morning, healthy, energetic, and pursue my purpose.
Beautiful. I am grateful that I had a nice no labor day yesterday where I purposely tried not to work. Not an easy thing. I'm a recovering workaholic and have 8 jobs. But I went, and I'm now adding to the deliciousness of my life the fragrance of life. I did something I've never done before. I went to Home Goods, never been there before. I'm not really a domestic at all, but I smelled about 180 bottles of hand soap and candles, and it was lovely. It was a great experience, not realizing it is really beautiful to smell, the combinations of all the natural things in the world, the vanilla and things like that. So yeah, that was really fun. Good. I'm grateful for that. All right, let's go to the bottom of the button, which is, what do I like about myself? The reason why we do this is, well-meaning parents, sometimes more mean than well, say things like, you're not all that, don't toot your own horn. In Chinese and Japanese, we have a saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down. Not real incentive to pat yourself on the back. But as a result of not doing that, we're constantly looking to other people to see how we're doing and approve of us. And literally, we're walking around with antenna looking for likes on social media, literally. And it's a horrible way to live, because they may like you one day and then they don't like you the next day. So solid ground is weightlifting. What are you good at? What do you like about yourself? And I'll say, I like that I am able to process my feelings and feel my feelings fully without killing people. And and knowing that once I feel them, I can work through that onto the other side. So it's a skill, and I'm pretty good at it. So I appreciate that about myself. What do you like about yourself, Mark?
I think the fact that I think I have most things in balance pretty well. I started yoga like 20 years ago, and that's all about balance for me. So I was able to find and achieve that balance and ordering of priorities. So balance and priorities.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Very important.
And then I'll add one more thing.
Yeah, please. Usually people don't like doing it.
Perspective is important. To have perspective from like the universe, that level of perspective, rather than the little stuff. Perspective on a large scale.
I like that.
Of who we are, what we're meant to do, what we're meant to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
A year knows what a day doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or will be revealed. And I have a little story that definitely practices that I'll share a little bit later. But thank you for joining me for breakfast, Mark. That was good. Sometimes my guests are a little bit, but you did great. Thanks for that. And I encourage all of you listening in right now, an hour later, to do this good life practice, this hashtag Blisscipline, for 28 days, consecutive days, or 30 or 21, whatever you believe makes a good habit. And you can join me every weekday morning here to do that, or do it on your own. And, I promise that if you do this good life habit, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way.
Right.
Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. It says everything is awesome.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about cancer today, not about the horribleness of cancer, but that cancer has an Achilles heel, which is a beautiful way to describe what we're going to talk about. But before we get into the nitty gritty, because we do have a good 45 minutes, I want to find out from you sort of, did you know when you were a kid you're going to be doing this? Sort of what sparked you to go into this field? What sparked you to want to look at both nutrition and cancer research, cancer treatment and prevention?
Well, in college, I decided I wanted to be in the field of science and research. And the field I chose back then was neuroscience. But then I took a diversion away and, created a career in something else, but somewhat related. And then I got back into my interest in science when my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. That was in 2004. And I took a deep dive into research, looking at alternative ways, of treating it rather than the conventional way of surgery, radiation, chemotherapy. And I found some extraordinary things out. And I'd already established my background in clinical nutrition. So I had that. So I was looking at everything from that perspective. What can we do with diet? What can we do with nutritional supplements? So unfortunately, she didn't make it, but I carried on my research and started NORI. And I discovered a couple important things back then, which I held on to and still utilize in my work. And one of them is the discovery of selenium as an anti-cancer agent. It has proven effects for cancer prevention and very, very strong scientific evidence, many, many decades of evidence for treatment, using a common nutritional supplement for treating cancer. You just have to know how to dose it properly and combine it with other things, and it's very, very effective. So
before we go to psyllium, I kind of want to give like the big picture and sort of the history and some really important things that are understood and not understood about cancer, because I think that is really where we're at usually, and Chris and I talked about this, as soon as you are diagnosed, right? And when he was diagnosed, and when your wife was diagnosed, and I'm sorry for your loss, and but I know that she's loving you powerfully from the other side and supporting you in all the research that you're doing, which is a beautiful way to, you know, live out her legacy. And and before I forget, I'm going to give you the Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, which I give to not all my guests, but I don't know if I gave it to you last time, but those people who take their experiences in life that are often painful and turn it into something that helps tremendously other people to avoid or minimize their suffering. So thank you for that. So
here I am today.
Yeah. And so I just want to, again, let's take that 88,000 foot. I know you're excited about talking about this, and I am too, but I want us to build into it because it's so significant that right now the average person finding out that they have a diagnosis of cancer still to this day in traditional Western medicine, and they say, is there anything I should do differently with in terms of diet? Okay.
Yeah.
That the answer more often than not is no. You know, you need chemo, or you need radiation, you need surgery, you need this, and diet, if it is at all talked about, it's kind of down at the bottom of the list. Is that okay? So
that's the state of things today in oncology.
That is the state. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because that's what it was like when Chris got diagnosed, when my friends have been diagnosed, and I didn't know if that was still sort of the same. So I'm guessing that it is still sort of the same. Okay.
Yes.
So then the thing that was so exciting, and I actually found you guys, I was introduced to both of you and Dr. Hoffman through my my client / friend, Teresa, who said, oh, you have to have them on the show. So that is how I first met you. And the sad part is I got a text from her husband, and she has passed, and I shared that with you over the phone, and she will be I get to sing Amazing Grace on Friday when people put the flowers out for her, and I get to celebrate her life then. But that is what triggered me doing Throwback Thursday and then asking you to come on. Now, when you came on before, the exciting news then was on the clinical side is that the research was beginning to understand cancer better than before. And I'll say that before, cancer was just bad. You know, it was a bad thing to have. It was a bad, and really have no defense, right? Except for either cut it out or radiate it, right, to kill it. And then all the side effects may also kill you or hurt you or, you know, all that. There was nothing else. There was no other solution to killing cancer other than radiation or surgery or, you know, the chemo. I don't know if it's classified as, well, it's a toxic, right? You're killing the cancer cell using poison. Right. Yep. So then some of the research, and I'm using you to correct my understanding, which is what we do on the show too. They are beginning to understand the cancer cells themselves better than before. And they isolated an enzyme that cancer loves. Wait, they
amino acid. It's the amino acid methionine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they isolated something that cancer loves. So
Yeah.
that I think is a huge turning point of examining this enemy that you're getting to know what they like and don't like. So if you starve it of this enzyme, it's another way to kill it without hurting yourself. Correct?
That's right. It's an amino acid. It's abundant in animal protein, like chicken and fish and all the rest of the animal proteins. It's a lot less in plant-based foods. The foods lowest in this amino acid are fruits. So we put patients on a high fruit diet with some vegetables, no animal products. That alone can start reversing the cancer.
That now,
Just
I
that
take a
by
breath
itself,
on that.
you can take early stage cancers and start turning them around with just that. There's a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Robert Morris, been around over 30 years. He's been treating cancer patients with an all-fruit diet. I don't think he understands all the details of what's going on. He's not a scientist, but the research papers that just keep on coming out again and again and again points to this amino acid and another amino acid. There's two of them, methionine and cysteine. You don't have to starve the cancer cell completely of these, but you just want to lower the intake. And that has a profound effect.
To me, that is just like, that should be shouted from the rooftops. That should be on the news. Like, that should be a channel on the news, because what is it? 1 out of 3 women have cancer, or 1 out of 2 men, or the other way around. That is, why aren't we talking about this? Why isn't this in mainstream education? Which is why I wanted to, that's what I'm for here, to do things differently, and to really, really thank you for that heart. Someone just appreciated that. So okay. So we know 2 ways to lessen the joy of a cancer cell, if I could put it that way.
Right.
And instead of going yum, 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 oh, chicken, oh, turkey, oh, beef, I love those. And then the cancer cell thrives. You stop eating those things and you eat predominantly fruit and some vegetable. That those 2 enzymes, which are naturally occurring in non-plant food, but very little in plant food, if at all, begins to starve and dramatically affect the size of your cancer cells. So I just want to put that moose on the table. That's my Canadian version of elephant in the room, and anchor that. Like, if you have anyone in your life that has cancer, they should be watching this, because even Chris Ward, and as you said, Dr. North, who are not scientists, they're great advocates because it's worked on them. The science behind it is not necessarily understood. You just eat a plant-based diet, don't know why, but just do it. But I love this. What I wanted to be a hallmark show is to match up the practice and the science. That this is not, Lord knows we've had way too much conspiracy theory, way too much negativity around medical science and medical research, and the kind of research you're doing on why do I have a problem with that word? Nutraceuticals. That this is such a great thing to know. So continue.
Yeah. Well, things are changing, beginning to. Mayo Clinic recommends a plant-based diet for all cancer patients. But it hasn't filtered all the way through, conventional oncology. There's a field called integrative oncology, and we're trying to work through that avenue to get this information out. So many of the cancer centers do have integrative oncology units, and they do deal with nutrition, and they deal mostly with stress, and they do acupuncture and other things. But that's probably the best avenue to get this research and information out to oncologists who, for the most part, know nothing about nutrition. They've never been trained in nutrition, as most doctors. So, they tell their cancer patients, eat whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Which is so far from the truth. So far from the truth. Yeah, and if you're wondering what's going on in studio today, I am delighted to have back in studio live so that you can chat with us right now on my YouTube TV channel. Please subscribe, give us the finger or a heart, and you can ask questions of Mark because he is live right now, and we will continue to share all this information that he has and the exciting discoveries that he is now privy to and is sharing with us on how we can really defeat cancer and significantly make a dent on or attack its Achilles heel. We're going to take a quick we're going to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic on my NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. But do not go away. When we come back, the very exciting that you don't even have to sit in front of a farmer's table every day, that there's a way to get all of these really good nutritions that don't have those two enzymes that cancers love in the latest discovery out of NORI, which is Mark's Nutritional Oncology Research Institute. Did I get it?
You got it. Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
All right.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,464 podcast shows over the last 696 consecutive weeks. Thanks to you, I am over now 4 million impressions on that channel, continuing on a show they said wouldn't last a year because I don't talk about the headlines, but it's over 13 years now. So thank you very much for hanging out with me live every weekday morning on KCAA and YouTube TV channel. And today, I am delighted to have back someone who has very, very important information should you or anyone you know have cancer. Mark Simon is the founder and director of Nutritional Oncology Research Institute, NORI, which was established in 2011. Mark's background is in clinical nutrition with a specific focus on cancer prevention and treatment. Mark's the CEO of NORI Nutraceuticals, which manufactures specialty nutritional supplements. And if you listen to the last Throwback Thursday interview, you'll remember the great finding that we have identified now what two enzymes that cancer
Amino acids.
on. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Amino acids.
Amino acids.
that cancer thrives on.
Okay.
And now we have a way to hit the Achilles heel of cancer. Please welcome back to the studio, Mark Simon.
All right, so let's talk about the real Achilles heel. That dependence on those amino acids is related, but the real Achilles heel of cancer cells is a sensitivity to oxidative stress or free radicals. So we all have heard about antioxidants. You've also probably maybe even heard if you're a cancer patient and you're undergoing chemotherapy, you're always told don't take any antioxidants because it could interfere with the chemotherapy. And that's true. So cancer cells protect themselves with antioxidants and antioxidant systems that are within the cells. One of them is called glutathione. So when you look at a normal cell and a cancer cell, there's actually a really huge difference between them, which I call the real Achilles heel. So a normal cell is operating at a very low level of oxidative stress. The level of free radicals is really low in a normal healthy cell. The cancer cell is at a very high level. And that's because of its altered metabolism and damaged mitochondria. We can understand the reasons why. And so it has a 10 to 100 times higher level of oxidative stress or oxygen-free radicals. So what that means is that if you just raise the global oxidative stress level a little bit, the cancer cell is going to suffer and be pushed over the edge. So that's why things like ozone can be used therapeutically in treating cancer. And pro-oxidants, instead of antioxidants, we use pro-oxidants to create more oxidative stress and interfere with the antioxidant systems. And all this can be done naturally, without drugs. So back to the diet, that one amino acid we were talking about, cysteine, that's the key right there. That amino acid itself is an antioxidant, and it's used to make glutathione, which is the master antioxidant within the cell. So we're pulling the rug out from underneath the cancer cell with the diet by reducing the cysteine intake. So we're impacting its antioxidant defense system. And then we can pile on other oxidation and do some other tricky things and just make the oxidative stress go crazy in the cancer cell, but the normal cell's fine and happy. So that enables us to, in a non-toxic manner, without side effects, without any issues at all, kill cancer cells and shrink tumors. Combination of diet, plant-based diet with very low methionine and cysteine.
So you're starving. You're starving.
Starving, and then some pro-oxidant nutraceuticals. And then one other thing. So the thing I shared, the research paper.
Do you want to put it up there for me now?
Do you want me to bring it up?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me do that.
So I'm getting a little. This is all new. So, and there's a lot of scientific terms.
Okay.
But I don't need to understand it fully. All I need to understand is things that we normally associate as negative, which is
Mhm.
or ozone, right? Ozone layer, that's usually a negative.
Yeah.
Or antioxidants, right, is also not necessarily negative, but used in a different context. You're saying that you know now that cancer cells use antioxidants to protect themselves,
Correct.
and therefore introducing pro-oxidants is a good thing in order to shrink tumors, kill cancer cells, so that because they're less protected now, and that is a natural way to treat cancer if you have it, and also not suffer the side effects that you normally do with traditional ways of treating cancer now. Is that accurate?
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
I'm the average man dictionary, so I want to make sure that people understand, as well as me first, what you're saying. That is a little less scientifically said, but nevertheless. Okay, here's the research.
Okay. And anybody can find this paper on PubMed. Just Google low sulfur amino acid, high polyunsaturated fatty acid diet and cancer. So this was published in 2022. And this is a really exciting paper. And this is in cell culture and also in mice. So it's in vitro and in vivo. And these are human breast cancer cells, 2 types. So low sulfur amino acid, that means low methionine and cysteine. Those are the sulfur containing amino acids. So basically they put the mice on a diet that's low in these sulfur amino acids. They increased the polyunsaturated fatty acids, and this killed the breast cancer cells. And the effect was actually quite dramatic. If you go through the study, you can see pictures of the actual tumors, which are huge in the control group and very, very tiny in the experimental group. So here is scientific evidence. Here it is right here. These are the little tumors here in the experimental group, and that's the control group. This is the diet. This is the normal diet, and this is the low sulfur amino acid, high PUFA diet. So there's a demonstration in mice, but this is totally translatable to humans. We can manipulate the diet and have a very, very profound effect. You can see this curve right here, the blue and the red lines. We can have a very profound effect on the tumor rate of growth, and essentially over a long enough period of time rid the animal of the tumor or tumors.
So help me with the graphs here for a second. The one with the 2 circles, the what is the red? Because it's a little small, I can't read it.
Okay, so yeah, the blue line here, this is the control group. So this is just the mice on their normal diet. The tumors just continue to grow. And you can see in the red, this is the low sulfur amino acid, high PUFA diet. You see that red line is almost flat, like the tumor just grew a tiny bit. So it's had a very, very significant effect on the rate of tumor growth.
That's on the bar graph. I'm not the bar graph.
Oh,
the graph
I'm looking at the graph. It says tumor mass in weeks. So
okay,
you can
I see
it
that.
goes 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
If you're driving, do not look. But if you're stationary and you're looking at this graph, we're going through a published study that had significant results in what Mark has been talking about, the ability to impact and find the Achilles heel of cancer cells, and how this particular diet in the experimental group significantly shrunk the tumor and did not allow for the normal growth, which is in blue, right? On that graph,
Yeah.
you see it goes up. That the red is almost flatlined, which is good. That means no growth. Correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Tell me what
Got it.
the green and blue on the bottom is, those two graphs.
Yeah, these are micrographs. This is
Oh,
kind of
okay. Then we don't
complicated.
need to. I thought
Yeah,
you were
I
going
think
to.
it's going to get
So
way
the
too
most
complicated.
important one is the graph we just talked about, right?
Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to
Okay.
go back.
Do you want me to take it down?
Yeah, let me go. Here we go. Yeah, so anybody can find this study, and it's also on my websites. But
And your website is NORI?
nutritionaloncology.net.
I'll pull that up because people will be asking.
So,
Nutrition.
and also this is on breast cancer, but this would apply to really all cancers because all cancers are dependent on these sulfur amino acids, and all cancers are sensitive to the high levels of polyunsaturated fatty acids. So remember I was talking about pro-oxidants. So the polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, at high levels in the body, they work like a pro-oxidant. They actually create a sort of an oxidative effect. It's kind of complicated. It's called lipid peroxidation. But anyway, these things get into the cell membrane and they destabilize the cell membrane, and selectively only in the cancer cells, the cell membrane collapses. So it's a combination of two factors, the lowering of the sulfur amino acids and the increase in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. That's all that was done. And you'd barely see an effect like that with a chemo drug. Now, you take this and then you can add on some other natural things like pro-oxidants, and instead of that line just staying flat, you could basically imagine just killing off all the cancer cells completely. There's a type of cell death called ferroptosis, and this was discovered about a dozen years ago. The classic form of cell death is apoptosis, and now there's this big interest in ferroptosis because chemotherapy doesn't really kill off the cancer stem cells, and those are the cells that are responsible for recurrences. And so we need to be able to kill all cancer cells, the tumor cells and the cancer stem cells. So ferroptosis is believed to be a way to do that. So my protocol now is ferroptosis oriented. We do everything we can do to maximize that form of cancer cell death. So
that is so important. I want to just highlight that again.
Yeah.
Because it's something that people don't know, is that chemotherapy doesn't kill the cancer stem cells, the underlying. So then why the fork is there so much emphasis on that kind of killing and not talking about the root? Of course, it's going to come back if you're not getting the stem cell. So again, this is why I have Mark here, is to really shout from the rooftops because cancer is continuing to be a problem, definitely affecting happiness of people having it and their loved ones, is that, hey, do you have all the information that is available, that has been researched? This is not conspiracy theory like you hear about people dying when they have any alternative solutions to cancer, and you know, I was told many times that that is another conspiracy theory kind of, you know, just based on fear. But here you have recognizable empirical medical science and studies that are showing that there is a solution to killing cancer that is not just a surface level killing with no side effects. And please go to Mark's website, because not only does he have all this great information, I didn't know about ferroptosis myself, but also, this is the cool part, is he does have, I was going to ask you, are you still doing your weekly calls? And he is.
Yeah.
So this is a free weekly online Zoom workshop, harnessing the power of nutrition to beat cancer, that y'all need to be part of if you know anybody that has cancer, or if you yourself have cancer. Doesn't mean you need to stop your chemo or whatever it is. I know that there's a lot of scary stuff around that, but please, this is my message has always been, yeah, you may know you're not like mentally healthy, mental health, you have issues, but before you reach for something outside yourself, is there something you can do that is under your power and responsibility to help yourself? And nutrition, and what the fork you put in your mouth, literally, with a fork or without it, is important to understand and to try. Why wouldn't you try? There is no downside. There is no side effect to having fruits and vegetables, and not so much chicken and beef and pork and all the things that feed the cancer cell.
Right.
How did I do for the commercial?
You did great. So I want to talk about sugar. I want to talk about sugar a little bit, because people are going to ask, well, fruit's full of sugar, and I thought sugar feeds cancer. Well, that's a misconception. So
I've heard that.
it's not, fruit is not the same thing as sugar. Refined sugar is not a good idea because it can cause insulin spikes, and insulin itself can be a tumor growth promoter. So, you know, we don't want refined sugar, of course, in the diet. But fruit works just fine. And diabetics can go on an all-fruit diet, and they do wonderfully. So this whole type 2 diabetes thing has nothing to do with carbohydrates or sugar or fruit. It has to do with an excess of fat in the diet. That's what causes insulin resistance. That's what's causing all this type 2 diabetes, just an excess of fat, especially animal fats. So that's an important point I wanted to bring up.
That's another moose drop. My Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. I've heard how many times that diabetes is because of too much sugar, shouldn't eat fruit. Fruit is high in sugar. You're saying that's bullshit-talky. Correction, it is fat, mostly animal fat. I have to listen to this because my cholesterol apparently is higher than normal, and I told the doctor I didn't want to take the pill. Let me just try to lose some weight, and I did significantly bring down the number. But I am guilty of loving Chinese, you know, the fat that comes with the pork, that crispy skin pork. That's my my Achilles heel, knowing that is probably why I have those numbers. I have really high, good LDL or whatever that number is, which is good. But certainly this is good for me to know.
Yeah, and read the China study. That book's been around a long time, but it's pretty enlightening. And there's so many other books out there now talking about a plant-based diet, low fat, whole food, plant-based diet can reverse heart disease. They can reverse diabetes. It can reverse practically all these chronic degenerative diseases. And, you know, the answer to all these things is on our plate.
Yeah. Now I'm going to, I broke a rule and I told him about the blood clot, but I do want to do this before the end of the show. The doctor told me there's nothing I can do to reverse or dissolve the clot or prevent the clot, except for taking blood thinner, which is
Okay.
what I'm doing for the rest of my life. This
Okay.
is my second time having it. And your response was, well, what are you eating?
Yeah.
So please tell me
I want you
how
to eat
I
more.
can help myself.
I want you to eat more pineapple and more papaya because
Okay,
of the
I like those
enzymes
two
in there.
things.
And then there's an enzyme called nattokinase, and there's an enzyme called serrapeptase. And these are fibrinolytic enzymes, and they can help break up clots.
Interesting.
So enzymes. Now we can talk about enzymes. Really, really important to get enzymes in your diet, and sometimes some supplemental enzymes like bromelain is a very powerful enzyme that has fibrinolytic activity. So bromelain is very, very good. And it's
And how do I
naturally
get
in
that?
pineapple, naturally in pineapple, but you can also get it as a supplement powder or pill. And then I mentioned nattokinase. Natto is an Asian food. Have you heard of natto? N-A-T-T-O? Okay. It's pretty nasty and smelly, but it does have an enzyme they derive from it, which is a fibrinolytic enzyme, and serrapeptase, also a fibrinolytic enzyme. And generally more fruit in your diet, more raw, fresh fruits and vegetables.
You were mentioning figs as being
Figs. There you go.
a
You should
good
be,
one.
I think 5 servings a day of fruit is inadequate. I think we need 10 to 15 servings a day of fruit.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, at least. And you could even try going fruitarian for a while, for a couple of weeks, and see what that does to your body. It can do some
Okay.
pretty
Worth a
amazing
try.
things. So, by the way, I've been vegan for 43 years now. I just turned 73, so I'm doing pretty good. Feeling pretty good. No pains in my body, no medical issues, no nothing.
So it's a good longevity diet as well.
Yeah, and lowering these amino acids also increases lifespan. So a low sulfur amino acid diet has been shown to extend lifespan and health span. So there's huge benefit to eat less protein, not just getting rid of the animal protein, but just less protein in general. You don't need to worry about not getting enough protein. Protein deficiency does not exist except in cases of very severe malnutrition. You can survive on all fruit and you'll get all the amino acids you need. You can live on
that's
fruit
another
and vegetables. And, you know, the old traditional Asian diet, what is it? It's rice and vegetables and some fruit. And you never saw obesity, you never saw type 2 diabetes, you never saw heart disease, and you saw very, very little cancer. Traditional diet. Look at the blue zones, Okinawan diet. They mainly live on sweet potatoes, no animal foods. They live to be well over 100 years old. And very,
now,
very
does that include I thought the Okinawan or I thought the blue zones also had fish. No?
No.
Okay.
If there is any, it's a very, very, very small amount.
Okay.
No.
So that's also my daughter went vegan for like 5 years, and as a concerned mom, you heard all the stories. Oh, they're not going to get enough protein. They need to have their protein from somewhere. Have to have eggs, know. And then she'd say, no, I can't have eggs. And so you're saying that is another BS, a belief system that's not based on fact for your body.
Correct.
That you don't need that.
Nope. You don't need it. And taking in protein beyond what the body requires is toxic. The body has to detoxify a lot of ammonia and uric acid. So, putting in more protein into our body than we need has negative health consequences. Taking in protein from animal sources is just outright unhealthy, and it causes colorectal cancer. So, going plant-based will lower your risk of colorectal cancer probably by 80 to 90% or more.
Wow.
So vegetarians have much lower colorectal cancer risk. Vegans have much, much lower. And it all has to do with the gut and the gut bacteria and what we're feeding in the gut.
Interesting. Now,
Yeah.
I'm guessing that organic is better than non-organic when you come to
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables.
Sure, it's better, but use the Dirty Dozen list.
What's that?
Environmental Working Group produces a list. It's called the Dirty Dozen. So the Dirty Dozen includes the worst fruits and vegetables in terms of pesticide residues. And the top one is strawberries. They've just added potatoes to that list. And then there's the Clean 15. So there's a list of 15 foods that are pretty free of pesticide residues. So organic versus non-organic doesn't become an issue with those foods. But there's these dozen foods that, that have been tested and have very, very high and dangerous pesticide residue levels.
Wow. Look
We're
at
talking
this.
about herbicides, pesticides, all the agricultural chemicals. So
the clean is not on this page.
Yeah, the important message here, more importantly than organic versus non-organic, is plant versus animal foods. So to rather see people go, way towards maybe even 100% plant-based living and not worry too much about the organic versus non-organic thing, because that's not going to solve, the issue or the problems. Or if you think you're going to be okay eating grass-fed beef, that's going to solve the problem. You're wrong. It's not.
It's still meat.
It has the same effect on the body. It's still meat. Yeah.
Right. Wow. We're out of time. I knew this would happen, but I think we did really well on getting everything, except the one thing is you now have a pill that combines all three what you were talking about, and that is available on your website. So it's an easier way to get what you need for what we're talking about, correct?
Well, this is for people with cancer, and they can get onto our program. This requires supervision. It's not something you can just, I don't recommend going out and purchasing it, but work with myself or one of our people and implementing, we call it a nutritional support program to work along with your, overall treatment program, whatever that may be.
All right, and I just pulled it up there, so it's very easy to find. You just put in NORI, Nutritional Oncology.org, and you'll have all of that information to follow up. And certainly that Zoom, that free weekly Zoom is what you really want to go to connect with Mark and to act on your own behalf. And I know that I am going to go out and have more papaya and pineapple and use a research on myself to see if I can dissolve the clots that I was told that I have no control over. And
you have control.
We'll see. I like
Okay.
that.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. And you know the drill. It's all about balance. Put up your peace sign for me. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now y'all go and have the best day ever. I'll see you tomorrow with Doctors in the House and Dr. Tiffany Tate. Thanks,
Thank you.
Mark.